Okay, so Pitchfork is doing a bracket of all their top albums since 1996, since they've been a website. It's all the albums that they've picked as number one since they've been making best of lists, and then I think a couple others to round out the bracket. But this is my idea of March Madness, so I'm going to pick who my winners would be. Okay, so I'm going to start in this top left quadrant. I gave this a look over, and some of the seeding choices are insane, but I actually think this first one is pretty good. Number one seed, Frank Ocean's Blonde. Number two, The Knife. This is a pretty easy one. This is not going to be a Cinderella story. Frank Ocean's Blonde is going to win. All right, this one's a little harder. This is a tough 2-7 matchup. Solange, A Seat at the Table. I really do like this album, but I did think it was not the best album of 2016. I remember when they picked it that year, I thought it was weird, and I really like this Panda Bear record. I think it's pretty underrated, so I'm going to go Panda Bear, our first upset. Okay, now this 3-6 matchup is a really tough one if we throw out everything we have subsequently learned about these two artists. I love both of these albums, but I'm going to go with Kanye here. Okay, now here's where I'm saying the brackets are getting insane. I don't know how Fleet Foxes is a 4 seed and Sufjan Stevens is a 5 seed. This one is easy for me. I'm going with Illinois. I love that record. It's one of my favorite records ever. I'm not trying to pick the best. I'm trying to pick my favorite. So Sufjan wins it here for me. All right, moving down. This is a weird 1-8 for me. I think this Interpol record is a classic. I don't know what it's doing here as an 8 seed. And I've actually already picked somebody from Animal Collective, even though I do love Merriweather Post Pavilion. I like Strawberry Jam more, so I'm going with a huge upset here. And I'm going to pick Interpol's Turn on the Bright Lights. All right, this next 2-7 is kind of unfair. Daft Punk Discovery, one of the best albums of all time, and this Cindy Lee record, which I really did love, but I don't know, I have 20 years more of a relationship with this Daft Punk record, so I'm going with Discovery. Okay, now this was the first time on the list when I thought maybe they just put these in random order. Maybe these are not supposed to be ranked because I don't know who is putting the Rapture's Echoes over Radiohead's Kid A. I love the Rapture. I didn't realize that this was number one. I didn't remember that, but that was cool. What a moment. In the early 2000s, dance punk, it was great. I'm going to pick Kid A. Now this is a really tough 4-5 matchup. Lana Del Rey's Norman fucking Rockwell and Kendrick Lamar's Damn. I really love both these records, but I know there's more Kendrick elsewhere in the bracket, so I'll pick Lana Del Rey. All right, moving over to the other side. This is where I really hope that this is not meant to be in ranked order because there's no way Fetch the Bolt Cutters is an 8 seed. That is crazy. I like this record. I didn't know it until Pitchfork picked it as their number one record last year, but I listened to it. It's good. It's not Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Easy win there. Next, Mitski versus Bon Iver. This is actually a tough one, but I really like Mitski. I'm going to pick Mitski, but to be honest, I'm just picking which record is going to lose to Fiona Apple in the next round. All right, here's where it gets crazy. Good Kid, Mad City got a 3 seed and is up against Playboi Carti. Good Kid, Mad City. Easy win. And then OK Computer versus Run the Jewels 2. I love Run the Jewels, but it's going to be OK Computer. All right, last section in the East here. SZA versus Vampire Weekend. I really love both of these records. I think this is an unfair first-round matchup, but I'm going to go with SZA. Now this 2-7, this is a really interesting one. The Microphones, this is an absolute classic. I listened to this album a lot recently because I just did a series about the best albums that came out on September 11th, 2001, which this record did, and it's a banger. I gotta go with Microphones. Next, again, I don't know why they're putting Kendrick in all these 3 seeds. To Pimp a Butterfly versus the Dismemberment Plan. To Pimp a Butterfly is gonna dismember that record, which is a great record. How is To Pimp a Butterfly not a 1 seed? This is very strange. Okay, and then the last matchup is Beyonce's Renaissance versus Outkast's Aquemini. This is another one that it's kind of unfair because I've been listening to Aquemini for over 20 years. It's got to be that one. All right, round 2, we've got Frank Ocean versus Panda Bear. I got to go with Frank Ocean. Kanye West versus Sufjan Stevens. To be honest, if this was an earlier Kanye record, I might have a tougher time. But Illinois just means a lot to me, so I'm going with Sufjan Stevens. Interpol versus Daft Punk. Sorry, Interpol. And then Kid A versus Lana Del Rey. I'm going with Kid A. Fiona Apple versus Mitski. Easy one, Fiona Apple. Again, crazy that she was an 8 seed. Now, this is a matchup. This could have been the finals. Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City versus OK Computer. Both were my favorite records in their respective years. And I know that there's Kendrick on the other side, so I don't know. Let's give a win to Radiohead. Let's go OK Computer. I'm actually wearing a Good Kid, Mad City shirt right now. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I don't know. I was 15 when OK Computer came out, so I got to go OK Computer. Next, SZA versus the Microphones. Another good battle, but that SZA record was fantastic. I'm going to go SZA. And then To Pimp a Butterfly versus Aquemini. Tough choice, but I'm going to go with To Pimp a Butterfly. All right, here we go. The Elite 8, Frank Ocean versus Sufjan Stevens. I love the Frank Ocean record, but just for me personally, it's Illinois. Then we've got Daft Punk Discovery versus Kid A. I'm going to go with Daft Punk Discovery. Now, Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters versus OK Computer. I'm still going with Fiona Apple. Fiona Apple has got to make it to the final four. Then SZA versus To Pimp a Butterfly. Easy choice, To Pimp a Butterfly. All right, the final four. Sufjan Stevens is Illinois. Actually, I would not put this in my top four if I was just looking at all these records, but it's just the nature of the bracket. So that's going to lose to Daft Punk's Discovery. Discovery is going to the finals. And now, Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters versus To Pimp a Butterfly. Two absolute solid masterpieces, but I got to go with To Pimp a Butterfly here. And now in the finals, Daft Punk's Discovery versus Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. I'm going to go with To Pimp a Butterfly. So do I think To Pimp a Butterfly is the best album since 1996? Yeah, I'm okay with that. Of this list, yeah, I'm okay with that.